No, not yet. He's coming in at. We're bringing him on at 10:30. We do our intro and then we bring him on. Oh wait. Oh no, I don't have any here. What happened? Yeah, so we're going to be talking all sorts of stuff today. We'll be talking sports, everything in the world of sports. Talking a little bit of Spurs basketball. We'll be talking college basketball. We'll be talking boxing with our boys Fernandez joining us. Rudy's also going to be.
Hey, I hear nothing.
You don't hear anything?
Yeah. No, I hear nothing. There you go.
It's the start of spring break for all the kids. So you'll probably have your kids off next week. We might have to take a day off next week. Spend some time with the kiddos, man.
Do a little something.
Yeah. Hey, take them to SeaWorld.
Yeah. My name is Mike Jimenez. This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the Alamo City, San Antonio, Texas. The 210. Joe Garcia producing today's show, and we are live right now on YouTube. Again, subscribe to the Alamo City Sportscast. Like and leave a comment if you'd like. You'll be part of the show if you leave a comment from time to time. We also have a QR code on the top left right there. Buy us a coffee, which helps keep the show going, helps pay for our equipment and things like that. We appreciate tips when it comes to, our fans, our loyal fans. And we have a big show today. We have Fernandez, the real Fernandez, Rick Fernandez, coming at us from San Diego, California. He's originally from San Antonio, exit 7, John Jay High School, went to the University of Texas, and is now serving the military in the Marines. You know Fernandez. He's been on the show before.
Photo X67 product.
Yes, we'll be talking about boxing. Get his impression on what's going on between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, because the early numbers are in for people betting on this fight. And I think people are going to be surprised by those early numbers. So we have to get into that. Spurs lost a heartbreaker last night without Victor Wembanyama. My friends and I were joking before the game that we had to bet money on this game. Put $50 on the Kings, man. The Kings got to cover the 11-point spread, right? No Wemby? This team sucks without Wemby.
They should annihilate the Spurs.
Exactly. And the Spurs went toe-to-toe, had an 8-point lead with 6 minutes to go, but blew it down the stretch.
You see that block by Jeremy Sohan?
Yes. My son. And now the Spurs are, one game away from coming back home. They have another game in California out there against the Golden State Warriors. That wraps up a 3-game road trip. Then they come back home. Wemby sat out because of an ankle injury. We'll get into that with Fernandez as well. Apparently in pop culture news, you're going to have to tell us this whole thing, Joe. Somebody died. Some sort of anime creator died. What happened?
A fixture, man. Akira Toriyama, man, the creator of Dragon Ball Z. I mean, Dragon Ball Z is like worldwide, man. It's huge, huge. I grew up watching it. I even share that with my son, and we watched it together. And he texted me, and he's like, in shambles, telling me, "Man, the GOAT died, Dad." He's like, Akira Toriyama. I was like, no. You know what? We both love Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
My birthday's coming up, and I was thinking of getting a tattoo already, a family tattoo. Me and my older kids, we want to get something. And I think I might get something Dragon Ball Z related too on my arm or something.
Now, I'm forced to the anime world, by the way, because my daughter, Ava, loves anime. She's into Demon Slayer, and she tells me all these stories about what's going on, the plot lines, and then there's a movie out right now at Flix that is Demon Slayer related. I know nothing about it, dude. It just glazes me over, man. I just look at anime, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. But I was talking to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 about this because he was like, dude, as a child, what were you up to? Because he thought that I didn't like video games. And I was like, wait a minute. I love video games growing up, and I love sports growing up. Those were my two things. But when it came to like TV shows, didn't watch a lot of TV. When it came to movies, didn't watch a lot of movies. Anime, knew nothing of it. I watched some wrestling. Okay, world-class wrestling. You know, the Von Erichs. That's why watching the Iron Claw was a thing for me, because I remember that. But aside from that, man, and then when it came to video games, it had to be sports games.
Oh man,
dude, fantasy game, Tecmo Bowl, or someone fighting. I loved Contra.
Punch Out
Was great. I loved Tecmo Bowl. Obviously, in the early 2000s, the Madden games.
Fast Break, I think, was one too. You probably
Double Dribble was a good one.
Yeah.
NBA Jam was another good one. Boom shakalaka.
Oh yeah, dude.
But you know what games I hated? I couldn't stand the epic journey games like Zelda.
You're talking about role-playing games. Yeah.
Well, like Zelda. What were the other games out there where
Final Fantasy?
Yeah, you know, Castlevania. Where
dude, I love Castlevania.
Castlevania was actually probably one of the ones that I was okay with. But man, I remember back in the day going to Ingram Square, and they had 10-yard fight.
Oh, I remember that.
Which was the most generic football game of all time. All 9 or 12 players were in uniform. They were like a 3x3, right? Or a 4x3.
Colors.
Yeah. and they all moved in the same general direction.
Yeah.
Electric football. Did you ever have electric football?
I didn't. And one of my friends did, and I was like, it's all right, but I didn't really care for it, man. Even like the handheld video games we used to have back in the day, they were just like little red freaking dots on the screen. You know, it was like there wasn't much to it. I'd rather just play the real thing.
Remember that hockey game that you would go to? It was kind of like air hockey, but it had like the U.S. versus the USSR, and you'd fight over who would be Team USA.
Oh, yeah,
right. But one of you had to continue the game, had to be the Ruskies.
Is it the one with the
Russians? They had the dome. With the dome. They had it at Malibu Castle.
I remember that.
They also had it at Showbiz.
It was foosball, basically, because you had the little the handles and everything. You would turn them.
That's a great game, man. That is a great game. I'm trying to create a game room right now at my house.
Yeah.
So I bought for Christmas, and I've posted video of my son Justin. He has special needs. He has Down syndrome. He loves air hockey. My nephew had a birthday at my house the other day. He's 21 years old. Brought his friends over. Dude, they were playing air hockey in my house. So I'm trying to, now that the house is mine, okay, I'm going through a divorce, probably be finalized this summer, but I'm keeping the house, and I'm turning the house into like my own thing.
Little man cave kind of thing.
The whole thing is going to be like a man cave type of thing. I'm extending the patio. So I've got a sidewalk coming out, some steps, MCS General Contractor doing that. Going to be putting up some ceiling fans outside over the
and that's
over the
porch. Be nice. Yeah,
make it a little bit nicer so that's not so stinking hot, or at least get the air flowing
for the dogs.
Right? So my grass is filling out. Again, the goal is around May to have a country music concert in my backyard where the stage is actually my patio. It's big enough, so I'm looking
forward to have Jelly Roll come up there and sing on the stage.
No, man. I have this one guy that we know of, my friends know of, that actually sings very well, and he did it at my friend's house recently, at my friend's party, because she's going on deployment.
Yeah.
So I want to have something like that and have people over. And now part of the house, though, I have a game room upstairs, but I don't like going to the game room upstairs because I hate going upstairs, dude. I just don't like it. I like to stay
brought a
downstairs.
one-story home.
That's I know, but I have a big house, and so downstairs I have this air hockey, right?
Yeah.
But I found online, and I'll find the photos of it. I found online a skee ball game that's for home, and it's not as big as the normal one. So I'm going to show it to you. I have it on the screen right now, or actually, I'm trying to call it up on the screen. It is an LED skee ball game. That is a house version of it all. If you want to show the photo that I have on here, I love skee ball. My kids love skee ball. It's only 2 feet 3 inches wide. It's 5.5 feet tall. It's not very big. It's 9 feet long. And my friends are like, "So you're gonna have this like in the game room?" No, I'm gonna have this in the living room.
Oh God.
I want it to be fun. I want my house to be karaoke.
Turn it into Chuck E. Cheese.
Turn it in. Okay, first of all, okay. If I have a house party and I bring you over and Fernandez comes over,
Yeah.
and let's say that Chris Gonzalez and Charlie Hernandez and Sith and Dio and all D'Lo and
As long
all
as you
these
got
guys
a beer tap, I'm good.
that are here, right? You all telling me that you all wouldn't be playing air hockey?
No, I said we would. I said you're just turning it into Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
The only thing was missing is the rat.
Yeah. What I get? I'm getting new furniture, a poker table.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. So I'm outfitting my house, and it's I want it to be an elegant man cave.
Gotcha.
Man cave chic, if you will.
Get an arcade cabinet, man, but that has like a bunch of built-in games, not
Yeah.
just 2 or 3, but you can switch it on the fly to whatever you want to play. 10-yard fight, for example.
Exactly.
Or double dribble.
Dude, if I got a golden tee, oh my God.
With the screen and everything.
It would be game on. So the skee ball that I found, the one that I like, is
man.
about $2,500. So, go referee some more basketball games, kind of pay up for that, or I can finance it for $20 a month for the rest of my life.
Jeez.
But, I think about it this way. You normally play this at main event. It's like 50 cents a game, so each time I play, I'm saving myself 50 cents.
You're going to get one of those machines where everybody has to put in the dollar and you get the quarters, the tokens, remember?
Yeah. Jonathan C. says, my house is turning into Dave and Buster's. That's right, baby. That's right.
Mike and Buster's.
Yeah.
Mike and Joe's.
And as I start dating, I'm going to say the main prize is me, girl.
Oh, no, man. Jeez. Always got to make it weird.
No,
man.
but the game
Always
room, dude, it's have the house be fun. Okay? And it's weird because when you say a skee ball game or something like that, right? You think of this bulky, ugly red thing that you see at main event or you see at Chuck E. Cheese. They actually make some of these that look like furniture, and it's such a cool website. So I'm going to be checking this out, man. Again, this is my year of fun. In 2 weeks, I'll be in Las Vegas, Nevada for March Madness. Why? It's my year of fun. I'm already making plans for the next trip. Friends and I are going to Nashville to go listen to some music.
Oh,
It's
man.
a year of fun.
Saying the dimensions of the skee ball thing, and your boy Sith over here said 5'2", 3.5 feet wide. Mike just described himself.
Hey, Sith, you want to go for a run? Let's see how far you last, my man. Let's see how far you last.
Man.
Very cool, man. But all these people saying that they want to come by to the house for a party sounds like one hell of a sausage fest, man. Let's not make it so, okay? But we have on deck right now the real Fernandez, Rick Fernandez from San Antonio, Texas,
Yeah.
Marbox 7, Exit 7, United States
7?
Marine Corps. He'll be joining us in a few seconds or so to kind of
Gonna bring
talk
him,
sports and stuff like that.
bringing him on right at 10:30 promptly, and we're going to bring him in right. I went ahead and made a little intro for him, man. And I sent it to Steph yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, Steph, look, check this out. What do you think? You think Rick is going to like this? And it was supposed to be a surprise for Rick. And then I call Steph and I'm like, hey, download this software and stuff because we're going to start getting her up and up to create content and whatnot, right? Producing and all that. And I tell her, man, I'm going to share this with Rick. She goes, I already did. I was like, no, girl, I'm supposed to show it to him.
Well, it's 10:30. Let's see him. Let's make this happen.
There he is.
What's going on, my man?
What's up? What's good? What's good? I'm good, guys. I'm good.
I hope the weather is better in California than it is over here. Over here, it's nice, but I don't know if you heard this morning, or I don't know if it was just my house. It was super windy this morning, and then I go online. The winds were going 40 miles an hour. It was basically a tropical storm overnight. Did you get any of that over here?
No, I probably heard some, rustling of the leaves or the branches or something.
Right. Well, I don't have any neighbors to my back. Right.
Yeah.
So behind my house is an elementary school. So the bus lane is right behind me. So there's nothing there. So if it's really howling, it's just hitting my windows, dude. So very cool. Pleasure having you on Real Fernandez on Twitter. What's going on, my man?
Hey, what's up, man? What happened to the intro? I mean, I know Steph ruined the surprise, and I love it, but we can still roll with it.
Oh, we're gonna roll with it. I was waiting for Mike to finish.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
There you go.
I love it. I
There
love
it
it, man.
is.
I love it. Hey, good job, bro. Good job. Appreciate you guys having me on. Yeah, man. Hey, sorry, Steph ruined it, man. She sent it to me, but it's awesome, man. Hey, no secrets there, So you tell her, you might as well be telling me, bro.
I know I couldn't get a hold of him. I was gonna call. I
It's all
called him
good.
up,
No.
and he was busy. So I'm like, man, let me show it to Steph. Let's see what she thinks of it.
Yeah.
'Cause she
No.
knows you
It's
more
awesome,
than
bro.
anybody else,
Yeah.
So
No.
she's like,
It's
oh
awesome, bro.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
badass. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna show it to Rick. I already did. I was like, man,
That was
The
quick, bro.
production value going up over here at the Alamo City
Absolutely.
Sportscast. Very, very nice.
Absolutely.
So, we're going to bring you on to talk boxing, but also let's get a little bit into the Spurs last night, because the Spurs,
man.
going to be honest with you, I was not interested in watching much of this game simply because there was no Wemby. And I thought to myself, dude, no Wemby means no win and no chance. But my goodness, the Spurs had
a good one. You missed a good one, man.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I caught up towards the end. The second half, as I realized that they were fighting along. So I missed the first half of the game. Second half of the game, though, you see the Spurs catching up. They were down in the third quarter, took the lead towards the end of the third, built it up to an 8-point lead, up 8 with 8 minutes to go, up 8 with 6.5 to go. And then it just kind of crumbles. But it didn't crumble in a way where the Kings ran away with it, because Keldon Johnson made a scoop at the minute 15 to build it back up to 3. And the Spurs had a chance to win at the very last second, but my son, Malachi Branham, gift-wrapped the victory for the Kings. Domantas Sabonis with the steal and the 1-on-0 fast break the other way to win the game. But your thoughts about this game last night without Victor Wembanyama, your thoughts on the Spurs showing some grit, showing some heart against a very good team.
Yeah, so again, I was at my spot here in San Diego. They already know when I walk in to put the Spurs game on. And it was a late game for. I mean, it was 7 my time, but it was about 9 o'clock y'all's time. So no Wemby and a late game. I tease people on Twitter, right? And of course I put something out saying like, hey, I know a bunch of y'all not watching because no Wemby and all that. Oh, you're missing a good one, but I get it. I mean, no Wemby, very late game out there. I'm not trying to fan shame anybody, but I was out there. I was watching it. What's frustrating is Zach Collins played a good game up until the very end, right? And Branham was hitting. I mean, it's just one of those anomalies when no Wemby. Obviously the Spurs are not better without Wemby, but other folks step up and they have opportunities, and it's just one of those things. So they played really well, and it's unfortunate that they couldn't close the show, because that would have been a big win, for the squad without Wemby. I know there's no moral victories. I know there's not. Everyone's gonna jump on me and say that I'm trying to say that's a moral victory. It's not, but they showed grit. Listen, let's call a spade a spade. Everybody was like, it's a blowout without Wemby. What's the point of even watching? And to come down to the final possession, and Devin actually had a good look. He still had a good look in that very, very last possession. He could have hit that 3. It just didn't fall in.
Sohan had the putback.
Yeah.
Well, so it's. I know you do not want to have moral victories, right?
Right.
So I don't want to go into that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain things going on with this team that are different than what has happened in November, December, and January.
Early in the season, that they would have gotten smoked. They would have gotten. They would have been it wouldn't have been close at all. Like they were, So that is progress. Like again, I know there's no more victories, and I know a win's a win, a loss is a loss, but there is progress there. There's no denying that. I mean, like I said, earlier in the season, it would have been a 20, 30-point loss. So
and this is also one of the things where you need a point guard, okay? Because I've had conversations with people on Twitter about whether positionless basketball is a thing or not, and to some extent it can be for some teams if they have a superstar, right? If you have a Giannis, if you have a Jokic, if you have a LeBron, you can have a positionless basketball type of thing. But when it comes down to the final play of the game, tie game, up 1, down 1. Do you know who I want having the ball? A true point guard.
Yeah,
I want somebody who knows how to handle the rock. And Malachi Branham, who, by the way, that turnover ruined what was otherwise a very good game for him. The guy knocked down all 5 3-pointers, 23 points for the Spurs last night. Led was second in scoring for the team. Malachi Branham, dude, if you're trying to take something out of the last few games, last 10 games, it's that Malachi Branham is starting to take a leap. And if you look at it, not only just 23 points last night, but you go over the last 10 games. Last 10 games, check out these stats here. He's been averaging 23 minutes played. Okay, so I'm thinking about this in a per 36 cents. But 23 minutes played per game. He's averaging 14.4 points. In a per 36, that's like 22. But from 3, 40 attempts in the last 10 games, 54.5% from 3 in the last 10 games.
Yeah.
Malachi Branham, you have earned a spot on this roster in this rotation next year. Now, I don't know if he's going to be a future starter, but to know that we might have a Patty Mills type of flamethrower out there on that roster gives me hope.
Yeah, man. No, I agree. Malachi definitely doing his thing. Blake, had some awesome moments. There's flashes, man. Again, and it's I mean, you can look at it two ways. It's frustrating. It's also shows you glimpses of hope. And I get it. I'm Mr. Positive and all that, but I was hopeful after seeing that. With no Wemby, again, I go back to that no Wemby. And I will say this, like you said about having a point guard. It's like an orchestra, man. You got that guy up there that's the conductor. It looks like he ain't doing anything. I don't know what, right? He's just moving his arms, and everyone's like, what's that guy doing? Like, I could get up there and do that. Like no, you can't, right? Like, he's up there conducting, moving, doing all these small nuances that people don't understand and don't realize. It's the same concept, right? You got to have that conductor out there that's putting him. Hey, you might be the best tuba player ever. That's fine, but that's your thing. You got that conductor that's putting it all together, putting all those pieces together, and that's what a good point guard does. Or like you said, a star that's gonna calm everything down, bring it down. The crowd's going crazy. The clock is going. Pop is telling them, somebody that's gonna just put all that together like a conductor, and that's what they're missing. Like you said, I agree with that.
You know what Malachi is doing that no one wants to talk about? He's inflating his trade value. Because if the Spurs want to go out and get a star, other teams are going to want to get talent in return, and they'll be able to point at Malachi and say, look what this guy did in the month of March.
Yeah.
It might make it more enticing. I'm not saying that I want to get rid of him.
Right. No, true story. Yeah.
What I was saying was that who are our trade chips when it comes to those on the court? It was Keldon Johnson, and that was it. Well, now it's Keldon and Branham. So I find that to be amazing. Julian Champagny continues to have blackmail over Greg Popovich because I still don't know how he on this team last night.
He's getting into Bryn Forbes territory.
Yeah,
and,
he got paid.
And a Bellinelli territory, right, where somehow Pop's going with him.
He got paid.
I think it also has to do with like who Pop wants with that second unit too. You know what I mean? It's almost like, it's like, I used to coach my kids when they were young in youth basketball, and I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I didn't want all the best kids in the very first lineup and then like nobody else in the coming. You know what I mean? Like, so what I'm saying is there was like a mixture, I guess, of like, oh, well, not that this kid is necessarily better than that kid or whatever the case, but it's just trying to even out the playing field where there's not a big drop, right? Like after the starting unit gets out. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, like, there has to be a logical reason, right, for Champagny being out there. I don't think it's just Pop not understanding or realizing that he is not that it's not that Champagny's better than Branham or whoever else. Right. I think maybe he just likes having that mix in the other unit, and I don't know. I guess if you think Champagny is that bad, bringing him in with lesser players within the second unit is even going to be worse. I guess, I don't know. I'm trying to rationalize this thing like logically. So
there's no rationalization. I know you're trying.
I know. I'm just saying. There's rationalization in everything. Like there's an explanation for everything in life.
In Pop we trust, right? In Pop we trust. No.
It's not that. It's not that. And I'm not saying in Pop we trust. I'm not. That's what people get so confused. I love Pop. Don't get me wrong. I do trust Pop, but I'm not blindly just in Pop we trust. Like I understand that people think that or whatever, but I'm saying I don't. I'm trying to logically think why this is a thing.
What I was trying to say is you're trying to give a little bit of a benefit of the doubt a little bit, because there has to be some sort of explanation, but it's just Pop being Pop. Pop, for some reason, gets enamored with certain players. This year, Champagny. In the past, it was Bryn Forbes. In the past, it was Marco Bellinelli, where all the evidence is there. We all see it.
Yeah.
We all see
Even
that
the numbers don't lie.
they're scrubs.
Yeah.
We all see it. And the numbers don't lie, and it was just brutal. Malachi Branham again with 23 points. Blake Wesley, 5 of 6 shooting for 11. He's coming along as well.
Man, that steal and dunk was something, man. Yeah.
And he had done that a couple of games before where he did the coast to coast. The rebound basket went 92 feet. It was like a video game. No one got away, and everyone did Matador defense, and he went and did a monster dunk.
Want to get posterized by him.
Yeah, against the Pacers. Then you have Keldon Johnson, who's starting to ball out a little bit, 9 of 17 last night. But man, I signed the form. I signed the damn form.
I saw that. That's good.
And Jeremy Sohan. Jeremy Sohan goes 3 for 10. Misses all 3
got
point
his
attempts.
signature on here, man. You see
that?
Yeah.
You know what? It's frozen on my end. I can't see.
Okay.
I just see you guys frozen. Yeah.
Hey, not a problem, man. We're good on our end. So
yeah.
Okay.
So Champagny 4 points. Trey Jones has been struggling these days. He had 12 assists. I get that. But when you have Champagny going out there providing no offense, and you have having no offense, and Trey Jones providing no offense, man, Vassell and Collins and Branham were fighting 3-on-5 most of the night. But the Spurs lose 131 to 129, fall to 13 and 50. We see some flashes of positive things. Apparently, after the game, Greg Popovich was being moody, a little bit more testy than normal. I wonder why that is. Why do you think at this point? Because it's not like we should expect or he should expect these teams to win. Because they're not as talented as a team that without Wemby, that is going up against De'Aaron Fox, that's going up against Domantas Sabonis and Harrison Barnes. So why do you think Pop is a little bit testy these days when he really wasn't at the earlier part of the season?
Yeah, it's a good question. Maybe again, he just with yesterday's game, it's like, man, we almost had that one. Like without Wemby, like that would have been kind of a galvanizing thing with the team to say, look, and I'm not sitting here saying that they can win without Wemby and like let's run this back. I'm not saying that. Just as for your own morale of like, look, we rallied and Wemby wasn't out there, and so you are good players. Now maybe not with this team, whether it's you guys get shipped somewhere else and do well other places or whatnot. So maybe he got frustrated because he thought, hey man, we had that one. I know he could have called a timeout. Maybe he's frustrated with himself. I don't know. They could have called a timeout. Could have done a couple of other things. The narrative that he doesn't care and he doesn't coach, I don't think is a thing. I mean, he does care. He is, we might not agree with his methods or we don't understand the methods to the madness, but I'm sure you're right though.
I'm sure Pop cares, and I'm sure Pop coaches. The question is he the right coach for the situation? Scoreboard. The scoreboard never lies. The numbers never lie. Spurs are 13 and 50. The Spurs right now basically have to go like 500 in order to avoid being the worst team in franchise history in 51 years. Yeah. That's on Pop. It's an indictment against him, and maybe he's starting to feel that. Maybe he's starting to feel that is a thing, because you can't avoid that. And this is not me being a hater. It's the fact that the Spurs have had 5 losing seasons in a row, and next year will more than likely be a 6th one. And it's hard to kind of see this. It reminds me of like certain basketball players who overstay their welcome and aren't as healthy as they were, and then their last 2 or 3 seasons suck, and you kind of forget who they were. I was in Houston for the Spurs Rockets game, and there was a guy in front of me wearing a Tracy McGrady jersey, and I joked that he was a former Spurs legend, Tracy McGrady. The idea of Tracy McGrady playing for the Spurs Tony Parker playing for Charlotte. It's one of the things where it's kind of like, oh, you left, you didn't leave on time. You stayed too long. That's where I am with Pop. It's not that I hate him. I mean, he might have been a jerk to me but he's a jerk to everybody. So I can't really hate him for that. But the fact of the matter is I just think it's time to move on. That's the whole point of it all. Coaches are hired to be fired, and I wonder why he's being angry now. Like, why now? You know,
that's a good question.
Is there something going on? What changed in February to make him now pissed? You know, whereas before it was kind of like, well, you know, we're going to see what we got. You know, he was ending every game kind of happy-go-lucky, and something changed. And I'm trying to figure out what that is. Spurs 13-50, now 0-7 on the season without Victor Wembanyama when Wemby misses the game. Wemby again missed the game with an ankle injury. The Spurs now have back-to-back games coming up against the Golden State Warriors. The first one there in the Bay Area. Then they come back to San Antonio for some home loving, if you will, taking on the Warriors on the 11th here in San Antonio, 7 p.m. tip-off. It's going to be on NBA TV. The following game, Alperen Sengun and his 45-point ass comes to the Frostbank Center, and I want to see Wemby shut him down. I want to see him shut him down.
Let's see if they play better and not get bullied again.
Yeah, exactly. and again, new referee crew. Maybe it changes a little bit, but we talked about players and coaches who stay too long, right? Who overstay their welcome. They're a little bit old, and it's
just like fighters.
It's time to move on. And that was the
just like fighters, just like fighters. Yeah,
I'm going to, because Mike Tyson, at the age of 57 now, will be 58 when he takes the ring July 20th on Netflix against Jake Paul. Who you got?
Let me tell you something, Rick. I don't know if you saw the clip, but Mike said yesterday Tyson's not a boxer. No, he's not. Yeah, he's not. Give us the reaction.
I saw it. I saw it, and that's why I said it, you know, jokingly, but I said, hey, leave the boxing talk to Friday. You know what I'm saying? So let's. There's some nuances here, okay? And you know, if some of y'all geek out on anime or geek out on whatever you guys geek out on, I geek out on boxing, right? I do. So bear with me. First of all, I think this is a big event. I mean, this is a huge event, especially for Netflix. Like having and so it's free for Netflix subscribers. It's not like an extra cost, from my understanding. I read that yesterday. You know, kind of like how DAZN, you could pay for the DAZN subscription, but then they have DAZN pay-per-view and you pay for the pay-per-view. The Tyson Paul fight is going to be free for Netflix subscribers. And I'm sure there's a way to pay for it separately or whatever the case may be. So that's pretty cool, I think, for Netflix to get into the game of boxing. It's an event, okay? It's not a boxing match or per se. It's going to be a big event, okay? It's going to be a big event. People are going to be watching. It's going to bring in fans that don't know anything about boxing, but our social media folks and celebrities or whatnot. So it's going to be a big event. I will say that. So yeah, Tyson is 57 years old. You know, the dude had a 50-6 record, right? 44 knockouts. We know the history, right? Youngest heavyweight champion, 20 years old, 1986, right? Beat Trevor Berbick. When I understand what Jimenez is saying about he's not a boxer, he's a fighter or whatever, but I think he's a boxer. I mean, the dude was one of our top amateurs back in the 80s, right? He missed out on the 84 Olympics like by this much. He has skill, he has defense, right? If you watch their old Tyson, right? He had all those slips and all that things that he did. So he has skill. Now, his style was that of more of a brawler, puncher, come and knock you out, right? That's like somebody saying, well, this isn't basketball. These are just guys that are running up and down the court scoring points. You see what I'm saying? Like it's basketball, but it's a style, right? Or a defensive football game where somebody's like, hey, this isn't football. This is just like dudes are scoring field goals and the score is 6-3. So that's my analogy for when Jimenez said he's not a boxer, he's a fighter. He's a boxer. It's just his style is one of more of a
brawler,
puncher, brawler. Yeah. Whereas a guy like Floyd Mayweather, his style is to box and move and jab and so I understand what Jimenez is saying. You're not going to see Tyson jab and move and use footwork and lateral movement and all that. Yeah, but he is a boxer. I mean, I'm saying he's very skilled in boxing, right? is just his style and his advantages, or what his advantage is. He's short arms, right? He wants to get inside you and knock you out, right? So I don't know, that semantics or whatever you want to call it, but I think
my point of it all is this, because Mike Tyson, I was born in 77, so I go back in time. Mike Tyson he fought his first fight in 1985, right?
Mm-hmm.
He became the Mike Tyson that we all know and love, as far as being I mean, back then it was Bo Jackson, Mike Tyson. Those arguably were the two biggest athletes in the world at the time. So really it was the late 80s, when he fought Michael Spinks and beat the crap out of him in a minute 31.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I remember watching all of these fights and just being excited, when he took out Tony Tucker and Larry Holmes, and he's getting Michael Spinks, and all of a sudden he's becoming a bigger and bigger name. If you go back in time, he won his first 37 matches, right? 37 bouts. 80% of them were ended in the first or second round.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two went to the third round, but very few went beyond that. And it's funny because I saw a meme earlier today about Mike Tyson's Punch Out, about Glass, about
Glass Joe. Yeah.
Paul looking like Glass Joe.
I saw that. Yeah.
Well, the whole point of that game was, if you outlasted Mike Tyson for 30 seconds, you were going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that was real life. And I think that a lot of sports fans and boxing fans will want to romanticize Mike Tyson as saying that he was an ultimate boxer. He really wasn't. He was a brawler who beat the living crap out of you, intimidated the living crap out of you. But the thing is that if you somehow lasted 4 or 5 or 6 rounds, you had a 50% chance of winning. And it started with Buster Douglas taking him 12 or taking him to 10. And dude, that Buster Douglas fight, that was the beginning of the end right there. I mean,
Tyson
couldn't do anything that entire fight. Now, Tyson did come back and win his next 7, but then he lost to Evander Holyfield. Then he bit his ear. Then goes on. And here's the thing, Mike Tyson, what has he done the last 4 fights he's had? He's 1-3 in his last 4 fights. And I know he hasn't had a fight since a sanctioned fight since 2005. It's been 20 years.
Right. Yeah. I mean, his last sanctioned fight was, 2005, Kevin McBride. We're talking about fighters or athletes staying past their prime. He lost to guys like Kevin McBride, who wouldn't be able to lace his boots in his prime. You know what I mean? But guys like that beat him in 2005. He had like an exhibition fight in 2020 with Roy Jones, and they both looked horrible, to be honest with you. So the Tyson's early career, it's matchmaking too, right? Tyson was built as this monster, right? Who and he was knocking people out, and it was like something from like the primordial ooze. Like people were just like, wow, like this dude is just like something I ain't never seen before. So there was a lot of matchmaking early in his career, just like every other fighter does too.
Yeah.
Where they were putting him in with guys that he was gonna knock out early, and then that was his thing. His thing was, hey, he's gonna knock the guy out, early and all that. Now again, early days, because the motto trained him and all this stuff. The dude can fight and box. Now, I agree as far as like the way you beat a Mike Tyson is you use your length and your jab and you move and you stay outside and you don't get inside to him and let him knock you out, because that's what he's trying to do, right? Guys like Holyfield, Buster Douglas, any of the guys that give him, Lennox Lewis, that gave him trouble, they're all big, tall guys with long reach that just kept him on the outside. And I mean, that's you could say like a guy like Tank Davis is to me is very similar. The way he fights, right? He's short, he's compact. If you keep him on the outside, you have a chance to beat him. So that's strategy in boxing. I mean that's just kind of the way it goes. But yeah, you're right. I mean the way to beat Tyson back then was to take him in the late rounds, because he was so used to knocking people out. He kind of would get gassed. And the Douglas thing, there's a lot of there's these old legendary nights from HBO, like on YouTube, that they used to come on, and they're like these 30-minute little clips. And if you have a chance, you should watch them. And one of them is the Mike Tyson one, and the Douglas, and it's pretty awesome, right? It goes into all the nuances about how his corner didn't have an end swell, right? They didn't have like the metal end swell. Like they were just unprepared because they thought he was going to knock him out in one round, And so they had no cut, man. They had nothing ready for him, right? So they, you got Aaron Snowell, who's a really good legendary trainer, by the way, with the glove with water, like on his eye, and his eye is just like swelling up, right? So there's all these cool, interesting nuances about Tokyo and when Tyson was out there. You got to remember this is like when he was with Robin Givens, and there was a lot going on. But you're right. So fast forward, it's Jake Paul, and so again, I'm a hardcore boxing purist. When the whole Jake Paul and Logan Paul started getting into boxing, I hated it. I really hated it. I didn't want it. To me, it's a sideshow. It's not what boxing is. But it's also, to me, I manage expectations. Like I don't expect. It's like the All-Star game, like the NBA All-Star game. I don't expect to watch the NBA All-Star game thinking that I'm going to see, defense and this, and I know what I'm going to see. I'm going to see a bunch of guys clowning around doing their thing or whatever. If I accept that and understand that, then I can enjoy it, right? If I go there thinking I'm going to watch like the beautiful game, Spurs and 14 and an All-Star game and all that and bad boy Piston defense, if I go there expecting to watch that, I'm going to be severely disappointed, right? So going into the watching Tyson Paul thing, I'm not expecting it to be some like masterful boxing performance. It's a circus. It's a sideshow. Like I know what it is. Like I know what it's going to be, right? And I understand that. So people got to manage your expectations, right? So if you go there understanding that what it's going to be, take it for what it's worth. It's a big event. It's going to be interesting to see all that. The event is probably going to be bigger than the actual fight itself. You know what I mean? The event is going to be bigger. So I will say this about Jake Paul. He started off fighting guys like Nate Robinson, right? And some old legends from the UFC world, Nate Diaz, Anderson Silva.
Prime.
Yeah. And he did fight Tommy Fury, who's an actual boxer. Yeah. He's Tyson Fury's little brother, and Tommy Fury beat him. I mean, Tommy Fury outboxed him because Tommy Fury is an actual boxer. Yeah, like he's not even like a great boxer, but I'm saying he's a good 8-0, 10-0. He had a couple of fights, but he's a fighter. He's been boxing since 8 years old, right? So the moment he did fight Tommy Fury, he got beat, right? So Jake Paul officially is 9-1 with 6 knockouts in his pro boxing career, right? What he also does that I do like is he gets involved in the promotions, right? He was involved in the promotions in Puerto Rico for a female fight, Amanda Serrano, that actually didn't happen because of an injury, but whatever. So he is involved in promotions of actual fights, like you know what I mean? So right. I think he's not just, I'll give him, I know he gets a lot of shit, and like I said, I hated him at first. What I will say that he seems to be trying to like understand the business and the game of boxing by getting involved in promoting and doing other things, not just, hey, I'm a YouTube star and I'm gonna get in the ring. So I mean, I'm trying to give him some credit, but I mean, the dude's a businessman. You know what I mean? The dude, you can't knock the hustle. He's out there making big events, making big money, and I mean, it's Jerry World. Man. Yeah, him and his brother, right? You got the brother who fought Floyd, and that was a whole nother thing. And then he does WWE. But add in Jerry World, it's going to be another massive event. Like Tyson, the power is the last thing that goes, right? Anybody that knows that, like Tyson, I guarantee if he lands on somebody, he's going to rock you, right? So the power is the last thing that goes. At 50, I have seen some clips of him training, and he looks decent. He looks good, right? He looks like a beast. Yeah, he's still there. But yeah, you get in the ring, man, and the wind is not there anymore. You might lose. I'm just worried about whether or not it's just already a fixed type thing. You know what I mean? Like if it's like, it's. I'm worried that it's like a stage type thing where it's already foregone conclusion that, Tyson's gonna get paid a bunch of money, and Jake Paul is gonna. Here's the thing. It's probably going to be an exhibition where there's not going to be somebody that say who won, who lost. It's just like the Floyd and Paul thing. Like
they're trying to get this. They're trying to get the sanction in Texas.
Yeah,
it hasn't officially been sanctioned yet. By the way, the betting on this is crazy because when it first came out, Jake Paul was minus 500, huge favorite. Yeah. Fell to minus 300. There are some sports books that have him at minus 225 now. Which means that people are betting on Mike Tyson, okay? Mike Tyson, depending on the casino, I'm looking at the odds right now on sportsbookreview.com.
Yeah.
Showing that there are some casinos that are saying that he's plus 225, some as high as plus 325, which basically means that you can get, you can get 2-1, 3-1 on your money if you believe Mike Tyson's going to get this.
Yeah.
I heard an argument from Dan Lebitard on Dan Lebitard's show yesterday about this, and I found this to be something that gave me some pause, because part of me was thinking, you know what, Mike Tyson's 58 years old. He's going to be 58 by the time the fight comes around. Jake Paul, late 20s.
Yep,
27 or so. And then, as you said, the power is the last to go.
Yeah.
And the question that Lebitard had, which I found to be a very legit question, is, has Jake Paul ever taken a punch from somebody as strong as Mike Tyson? Even though Mike Tyson is going to be 57 now, 58 by the time the fight happens. Has he ever experienced a punch that way, and can he take a punch that way? And basically Lebitard was saying, yeah, Jake Paul might be younger, but you get that one hit to the gut, that one, that one to the side of the face, kidney shot. It's over at that point.
Man, so if they hit you with that body shot, that rocks you. It actually stuns your body.
Right.
Oh man,
you man, boom, you're done.
Yeah, so your mind is telling you to get up, and your body legit can't. like I'm telling you, I've been hit like that. It's wild. Yeah,
I can see Mike Tyson winning this. I'm not saying that it's impossible. Yeah. But what I am saying is that I know what I've seen of Mike Tyson. Everyone's going to get excited about, oh, look how he looks like in practice. Do you notice that every clip that you see of Mike Tyson in practice or sparring and whatnot, they're only 8-second clips.
Yeah, well, right, of course.
They don't show him sparring for 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. All we see is, punch. And then it cuts to another clip. And I'm like, that's the thing about it. Mike Tyson might be good for 10 seconds, might be good for 30 seconds, might be good for one round. But is he going to be, Father Time's undefeated?
Yeah.
He hasn't fought a fight in 19 years.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, here's the thing. At the end of the day, you got a 58-year-old man and a 27-year-old pretty in shape guy, right? So generally speaking, I mean, if the 27-year-old guy is, and we're not even going to go into the nuances about, I'm not saying Mike Tyson is one of the greatest heavyweights of this era, or he's one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, right? I still put guys like Ali, Joe Louis ahead of him, but that's probably for another debate. But and I'm not, and Jake Paul is not I mean, he's an amateur boxer he's a celebrity that's turned amateur boxer, turned boxer, whatever you want to call it, or trying to be. It's like celebrity boxing, if you will. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's not like it's not like hey, he was an amateur, he went to the Golden Gloves and he did all that and he got all those experiences, So I'm saying he's not in that same category, but he's in shape. I mean, the dude's got, he's a millionaire, right? So the guy eats well, he eats right. I'm sure he has, so he's in shape. Point I'm trying to make. He's 27. Big dude, right? I don't know, 6'1", something like that, 200 pounds, about a 76-inch reach, I think I saw, which, so what I'm saying is, generally speaking, if he just jabs him and moves and stay away from Tyson's punches with a 58-year-old man who probably might get winded in the first 3 rounds or so, conventional wisdom would tell you he could probably just cruise to a decision win, right? I mean, he can probably just, theoretically, he can probably just cruise a decision win, right? The legendary Julio Cesar Chavez, right, fought into his 40s and got beat by guys again who would never even who would never even like be able to hold his spit bucket back in the day, right? But like you said, Father Time is going to get you. So Tyson can get into that ring and then just not have it, and so conventional wisdom tells you that it's just, I'm not surprised that Paul's a favorite, money betting wise because of that, right? Now, like you said, I don't think I know Paul hasn't taken a punch like from a fighter like Tyson. I think if Tyson really lands, one of those, if he pulls back and gets one of those shots, I think he can hurt him and stun him, and it's going to be interesting to see how Paul reacts, and he could drop him and he can stop him. But I think my question and I hate to be like this conspiracy theorist because I really don't, but I'm just curious if this is like an event that they've already. What's up?
Like it's step 1 of 2 or 3 fights.
Well, yeah, like I'm curious as if this is like an actual like, hey, we want to, because here's like it could be that they got together and said, "Hey, let's do this." You know what I mean? I mean, at this point, Tyson has nothing. I mean, honestly, this is no one's gonna lose in this in the sense of, let's say Tyson, like let's say, like, I could see it going this way. Let's say Jake Paul is like boxing him, jabbing him, beating him, and all this kind of stuff, and then like Tyson just drops him and knocks him out in one punch. Like, that's going to be amazing for everybody. Even Paul's going to be like, "Hey, I was whipping his ass, and Tyson's still Tyson." You know, so it's a show, it's a business. You know, so in reality, he's not going to lose anything. I mean, because he's always going to say, "Hey, I took a shot from Mike Tyson, just like old boy from The Hangover." You know, old boy from The Hangover. Just, you know, like so there's no loss there. There's no loss there, and Tyson's going to be like, "Yeah, I'm Tyson." And then if Paul, you know, just outboxes him and whatever, and then at the end of the day, it's going to be, "Hey, well, Tyson's 50-something years old. Hey, Paul is you know, trying to be more real as a boxer, even, you know." So I'm just concerned that this is like a show, like it's more of a like I feel like it's like a WWE type thing where it's like scripted, like it's not like. And I used to be a wrestling. I'm not really wrestling. I don't really watch wrestling anymore, but I used to be like back in the day, like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, right? Those wrestling. And I mean, wrestling is scripted. It's not fake. You know what I mean? Like those dudes get hurt, and those dudes and gals put their bodies through a lot of shit, a lot of training. So it's funny when people say it's fake. It's scripted, as in the outcomes are predetermined. Yeah, but the pain and the hurt and all that is real, right? So I'm kind of thinking this might be something like that, because I mean, it's not like there's no, like, in boxing, they're both trying to win because they want to fight the next champion or whatever, right? Like, there's a purpose to why are we fighting each other, right? Because I want your belt, or I want to be the next guy, or I'm trying to come up. I mean, what is like there's no, the winner of this gains nothing, right? And the loser of it loses nothing. Does that make sense? Like, so I think it's going to be like I feel like it's going to be a scripted type thing. Now, if it's just, "Hey, let's go in there and see what happens," Tyson could knock him out, right? Like, just bam, lay him out, you know, because that's just one of those things. So I don't know. I guess that's where my mind went. When I saw this, I was like, man, is it like they came together and said, "Hey, let's do this," almost like in a WWE style?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, if it's sanctioned, I hope that it's not. But again, the fight is July 20th at the AT&T Stadium, Jerry World, home of the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be live on Netflix. The tale of the tape is Mike Tyson is 3 inches shorter, 6'1" compared to 5'10". Jake Paul has a 5-inch longer reach, but Mike Tyson outweighs Jake Paul by about 20 pounds. So not as tall, but he's built like a tank. Yeah. But and
it's also, you know what also is gonna, I'm sorry, bro. What also is gonna be interesting is how many rounds are they going to go? You know what I mean? What are the, like, we don't know none of that yet, right? No one's saying it's going to be a 12-round fight or a 10-round fight. It could be an 8-round fight or whatever. And that's going to,
dude.
What's up?
I think it's going to be 8 rounds.
Probably. I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be no 10, 12 rounder. Like, it's going to be, it's going to be some type of exhibition. It's like a sparring. Yep, Chris Gonzalez said. It could be 2-minute rounds and eight rounds or whatever the case may be. So that changes everything, right? Because like you said, Jimenez, if you expect Tyson to go to 12 rounds, he doesn't have to worry about that if the fight is just scheduled for 8 or whatever the case. We're going to see a lot more as it starts to unveil, whether it gets sanctioned or not. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, the commission's sanctioning a 50-year-old fighter. You know, they got to go through medical and they got to go through a lot of stuff. It's going to be sanctioned type thing. I think it's going to be one of these like exhibition type fights where it's really not going to be. They're not going to have a winner or loser, or they're going to have 8 rounds, or it's not going to be your standard 12-round championship fight 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's going to be something like that, which further shows that it's a show. It's an event. You know, if you go there thinking you're going to watch like some masterful boxing performance, you're going to be sorely mistaken. You're going to be sorely upset. Now, I'm curious if they're going to put what I hope they do is put actual fights on the undercard. That's what I hope, right? That they put good. Yeah, I think so. You got, there's a lot of good Texas, hotbed for Texas. It would be great for them to put like a good fight as their co-main event. That would probably be a main event somewhere. That's how you sell. That's how you. Yeah, exactly. Bring in, our some San Antonio boys, right? Bring in, Bam or something. I mean, he's different promotions, but what I'm saying is,
to make it more.
Yeah. If you want to, and I think Jake Paul knows that. Like I said, he's involved in promotions with the MVP, most valuable promotions, and he promotes actual fighters. He had like real top-notch fighters under his promotion banner, right? Amanda Serrano, one of the best female fighters, and a couple of other fighters. But so to bring in the actual fight fans too, you'd be smart to throw some good fights on the undercard. You know what I mean? Some actual fights, and then the other one is just a big event, and that's just what it is, you know.
So go to my screen real fast.
Yeah.
This is hysterical. New York Post is having a tale of the tape, and it says Tyson's 57, Jake Paul's 27. Pedigree: Tyson, former heavyweight champ. Jake Paul, 20 million YouTube followers. Face tattoo: Tyson has a warrior tattoo. Jake Paul has a dragon face tattoo. Favorite snacks? Well, Mike Tyson once bit Evander Holyfield. Yeah. Jake Paul once ate a raw cow testicle.
Jeez.
Nicknames: Kid Dynamite versus Problem Child. When it comes to pets, Jake Paul has a pit bull and a golden retriever. Mike Tyson has a shit ton of pigeons. And when it comes to crimes, one was a rapist and one was criminal trespassing.
Yeah.
Hey, so I got to get into this with you, Rick, too, because we're going to transition away from the Jake Paul Tyson fight. We're going to talk about a fight that's actually happening tonight. But we have Ngannou. You're going to be facing off against Anthony Joshua. And they have some undercard fights on this one that's interesting to me. One of the ones that I'm going to be looking at that I'm interested in seeing are the big boys here. Want to see some Parker versus Zhang, man.
Big Bang. Yeah.
Man.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking the same thing. It's a Friday fight. It's out in Saudi Arabia, right? So I want to say it's gonna be on about 5:30 y'all's time, like the main event, if I'm not mistaken. But the undercards obviously are gonna be before that. You got Ray Vargas, one of the lighter weight guys that's gonna be on the undercard is gonna be good. Yeah, the Big Bang, Josh Parker. I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen that dude, Big Bang from China. He's a beast. He is a freaking big boy. He's a beast, and that's gonna be a good one. Him and Parker is gonna be a good fight. So
they're gonna be throwing some haymakers, man.
Yeah, and this is almost. I mean, not as much of a spectacle, but for those that don't know, Ngannou is a UFC guy. He was like 17-3 in the UFC. He fought Tyson Fury.
He won that fight,
and he dropped Fury, and officially it was a split decision loss. But that is amazing for a UFC fighter who have never fought professionally boxing to fight the heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury, who and he dropped him and he gave him all he could handle. So it's interesting, you know what I mean? It really is, Ngannou actually has
from yesterday, Rick. The weigh-in results from yesterday when they weighed in both Ngannou and Joshua. Joshua weighed in at 252.4 pounds. Ngannou 272.6.
Ngannou's a big dude. Yeah. Ngannou's a big dude. Ngannou's a big dude. He's big and he's strong. He has a pretty wild story. Like he left Africa in his 20s, and he got like jailed in Spain for trespassing. And he's like an international man. He showed up in Paris homeless, right? And walked into an MMA gym, apparently, got in there into the gym, was living in the gym for a while and picked up the MMA. So it's just, the dude's a real life, warrior, right? So he's a tough dude. He's a tough dude. He ain't playing around. He ain't no YouTube fighter or anything like that. The dude's a tough dude. Joshua is he's a good fighter. I mean, he was an Olympian from England back in 2012, a gold medalist. I mean, the dude's a solid fighter. He's lost to Usyk and he got upset by Andy Ruiz. But he's a good fighter. He's a very well schooled fighter, right? He's gonna be well. He'll do well to box and move and stay away from the power of Ngannou. So that's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting fight. But yeah, today on Friday it's on DAZN. The undercards are good. So if you can catch that.
I gotta ask you, Rick, man. I know you've been watching this just as I have been watching this. Bro, what is up with Ryan Garcia, man? This kid,
man, his Twitter was off the chain the last few days. He was saying some wild stuff, man. He was talking about aliens. He was talking about kids being abducted and sold in the all kinds of stuff. He was saying that people are gonna kill him, and I don't know, man.
Lay off the weed, brother.
Yeah, man.
He's a paranoid
I don't
dude,
know.
man.
Yeah, he sounds very paranoid. It's all fun and games, but honestly, man, he has some mental issues, man, and he has some stuff going on, and it might be in his best interest not to fight. I'm just saying because I don't know, man. I don't know. I've seen different schools. Some people are like, oh, he's just trying to sell the fight. He's just trying
No,
to be off the wall. But that's some odd. I mean, that's just some odd behavior, man. Like that's some really odd behavior.
Talking to Rick, United States Marine Corps in San Diego, California, from San Antonio, John Jay High School, exit 7. Do you have time for some Demon Mike talk?
God.
Yeah. Let's do it. You know what? Backing up though, real quick. I was watching earlier. You were talking about your bachelor pad at your house, and it reminded me of that. Remember that movie Big?
Yeah.
When Tom Hanks is gets big, and his house. He has all the trampoline. He has like the. He has the pinball machine, all that stuff. That's what my mind went to. I was like, "Oh my, it's a big situation." So
yeah, it's gonna be like I'm gonna have the bunk bed. It's gonna be like,
he has the bunk bed. He's like, I get to be on top, and she's just like, what, you know?
Yeah, the actress from Big, she was a nugget, dude.
She was back in the day. She was
hot.
back. Yeah. Let's get that entertainment bump. Let's see if we can get that bump in.
Yeah, man.
It sets the tone for what we're going.
All right, here we go.
Our girls, Paige Sporonic, is setting the record straight. If you want to show my screen there, Joe.
Sure.
She says that was not her at the Warriors game the other day.
The Warriors game? Yeah.
Okay, so Warriors game the other day, Steph Curry was going off, knocking down 3 after 3 after 3. Some girl with, let's just say, a very well-endowed chest was jumping up and down the background, and people were like, that's got to be Paige Sporonic back there, right? Because who else can afford those tickets? And Paige Sporonic tweeted, quote, there has been a lot of speculation surrounding this picture. That is not me in the back, LOL. So people are trying to figure out, well, who is this girl? I mean, come on. She's got to be somebody. If you have seats like that at a Warriors game, okay, this isn't San Antonio. This isn't Houston. This is San Francisco money over there. Who is she? Well, the New York Post found her. Oh, if you want to zoom in on this photo, New York Post found out who she is. And guess what? She was on a date. And you know why she was on a date? Because she's a $900 an hour escort. Oh, in the San Francisco area. So that's right. If you got a good G in your pocket, you can spend an hour with this lovely lady. Now, I'm not saying that you can do more or whatnot, but she is a $900 an hour escort. So I suppose if she was taken to the game and it was 3 hours long, someone paid $2,700 to sit next to her. That's what her name is Catherine Taylor. She's been getting so much publicity from this. She actually took down her Twitter account, her ex account. She was like, no, thank you. But again, this all came around because she says, God, best date of my life, as you can see. F me, remind me to come fully dressed next time. What an effing blast is what she said. Again,
my favorite. Can you go back to the picture of the thing? My favorite is my man in the front. That's totally turned around. like the dude in the blue. There's my man in the blue right there. I hope he wasn't on a date because my man is like bam. You know,
he got the two kids.
He's got the two kids next to him.
Got the kids with him, right? Yeah. My man he's like, fuck Steph, right? Curry. I'm over here, man. He is that is wild, man.
He's like
that is.
The kids,
yeah.
Kids, there's your new stepmom right there.
That is wild,
bro.
Wild.
Other people were giving Steph Curry crap about his form. They're like, your elbows bent too much.
I was talking about Rick girl. She put a comment in here.
I'm Rick's escort. Is what she got.
Exactly. You'll see her right next to me at the games, right? You'll look at that. Look, this ain't as good. Right? But you got Devontae Graham, right? You got me back here, double fisting, and there's my escort right there. I'm not gonna tell you how much an hour, right? But that's not as good as but it's that's not bad, right? This was in Atlanta, right? So that's not too bad. And I got Devontae to sign it, right? So it's pretty cool.
Oh,
But
Hey, you know what I was going to say too, man? Shout out to Tim Gonzalez, man. I went ahead and contacted him yesterday. And I said, we're going to be rewarding those who have been here supporting us from the beginning.
yeah.
oh, he's always supported, bro. That dude is a staunch supporter, a loyal guy, man. I'll give
Everybody, of everyone, of everything we do here. So as a thank you to him, I went ahead and contacted him, and I'm gifting him a Spurs T-shirt that we have, Fiesta Medals, which I'm going to be sending out to him today. And he's getting the Spurs tickets to go to see the game on the 23rd on the Saturday. And he's getting a free parking pass.
Very cool, man.
Thank you, sir.
Joe,
that's 23rd. What's that? Phoenix?
Saturday. Yeah, that's I think
Phoenix,
it is.
that's Phoenix. That's a good game.
Yep.
That's Phoenix. Yeah. Awesome. No, you know what? That's good, Joe. Because Tim is a loyal dude, man. He's always representing. He's always supporting. Low key dude. Doesn't get a lot of credit, but he's a good dude, man. He really is. So shout out to you, Tim.
Now, Chris Gonzalez is reaching out to us right now, saying that it's not like the movie Big, that says, "quote I can see Mike's game room like in the toy." Okay, first of all,
Richard Pryor.
Oh, the Richard Pryor. Oh, okay.
Let's talk about a movie that will never be made.
That's
dude.
wild,
2024.
Dude.
You cannot make a movie about a kid.
No. Yeah, that movie aged horribly. That movie aged horribly. Yeah.
Kids like Richie Rich. You can have anything inside the toy store, and he points at the janitor.
Oh God, bro.
I bought you. Yeah. Oh my God, you cannot
imagine. Can you imagine? Yeah.
So one more Demon Mike topic before we head off into the sunset for the day. Well, for the weekend, it's Friday.
It's Friday.
Look out, we
don't give a damn. I need to get
the
great Lyle, and Han. That's from their show.
No, I'm thinking Lisa in the Cult Jam, because weekends were made for fun.
Well, we did start a poll. I went ahead and started a poll for the viewers here. Dead even, dude. I asked, who do you got in tonight's fight? Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. Split right down the middle, 50-50, dude.
I'll tell you, man, it is I think it's a 50-50. I mean, after what he did to Tyson Fury, man, there's no telling what he could do. I think Joshua is gonna box and move and jab and dance around and probably beat him by decision. I think Joshua does take it, but Ngannou has that shot to catch him. So
hey, I was gonna ask you before we start closing up for the day here. We do have some news coming out. I saw this from Michael Benson over on the X. I always follow him. Great guy with news coming out. Legitimate source.
Knowledgeable guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly, dude. So he was talking about the Canelo Alvarez, and the Jaime fight, Munguia, Canelo's undisputed WBA, WBC, IFB, and WBO super middleweight world titles. It's reportedly saying that it's being set for May 4th in Las Vegas, and it's going to be broadcast both on the Zone pay-per-view and also Amazon Prime pay-per-view.
Nice.
Do you think this fight is actually going to get done?
I think so. I think I said it the first time we had our talk here. I said I think May fight is Munguia and Canelo. I do. I really think that's going to happen. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I think so. It makes a lot of sense. It's an all Mexican showdown. I know everybody wants Benavidez. I got it. So do I. But this isn't a bad second fight. This isn't a bad alternate other than Benavidez. Munguia's a good fighter, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. I think it happens. I really do.
Talking to Rick Fernandez over in San Diego, California right now. United States Marine Corps, thank you so much for your service. We are doing the Alamo Sportscast baddie brackets.
Oh, no.
March Badness.
March
Badness. March Badness. Yeah. Hashtag March Badness. Yeah.
Oh, we'd like to
it was right there.
We'd like to welcome 4 new members of the Sweet 16.
Oh, nice. Do I show the screen?
No, we can just talk about it. The thing about it is that we were doing the quirky girls. Okay, just girls who are cute, they're hot, but there's something about them, more of their personality than anything else, right? Man, the first bracket that we had was tough. It was Anna Kendrick versus Zendaya versus Jenna Ortega versus Taylor Tomlinson. Taylor Tomlinson got her ass handed to her. She only got 4% of the vote. The winner of that category was Jenna Ortega. A little bit surprised, to be honest with you. But then again, San Antonio, she's Latina. She's from Texas. 42% of the vote. But coming in strong down the stretch because it was tied last night. Anna Kendrick defeated Zendaya for the second spot.
That's
to
surprising.
advance. Yeah, Zendaya I thought was going to win.
I love Pitch Perfect, So to me, Anna's my girl. So, but I get it. It's tough. They're all tough, man. They're all tough. But that's a little bit of an upset, like a 12-5 upset or something.
Pitch Perfect filmed where? What school was that filmed at? LSU.
Barden University.
Barden University. Barden University is LSU.
Barden University. Yeah.
I'm talking to Rick Fernandez.
LSU,
He's a troublemaker himself. And then in the second pod of quirky girls, we had one that ran away with it, and I knew this one was going to win. AT&T Lily.
Oh man,
Milana Von
Van
Troop. Okay, first of all, in the AT&T commercials, she's cute. You take her out of the AT&T commercials, good God,
bro,
she's smoking hot.
Hey man, you get little peeks of what she's carrying, man, when she's wearing some of the blue sweaters in the commercial.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also advancing, I think is a dark horse in this category, Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, she's hot.
Aubrey Plaza is a nugget.
Parks and Rec, man. Yeah.
The one that got knocked out. I mean, we're talking about Quirky, the OG Quirky, which is Zoe Deschanel. She got knocked out. Rashida Jones got knocked out. But again, Aubrey Plaza, AT&T Lily, Jenna Ortega, and Anna Kendrick advance to the Sweet 16. So we have the actual brackets of the Sweet 16, but then we're going to add about 8 others. So it's going to be like a Sweet 24, a quinceañera, if you will, because it's going to be those that we missed, because people are reaching out to us going, hey, you forgot about this person. You forgot about this person. We might add that to the mix a little bit just to be a little bit off a little bit. But next week, we're not going to do a poll today, but next week we have polls that are going to be tough. Like the wrestling one was tough for a lot of people.
And that one
the Quirky Girls was tough for a lot of people. This week we also did the old school crushes. But next week, man, when we get into the Hollywood crushes, and we have a pod that has a Scarlett Johansson with a Margot Robbie, with a Gal Gadot and an Ana de Armas and a Dallas Bryce Howard and whatnot, it's going to be a battle royale when it comes to that. It's going to be like 25% to 25% to 25% to 25%.
Hey, and that's what happens in March Madness. That's how it goes as you get deeper into those brackets.
What we have discovered, what we have discovered with March Badness, the baddie brackets, is that our listeners, who mostly are from San Antonio, like Latinos with big butts or white girls with big boobs.
True that.
Does that seem like San Antonio to you, Rick?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, it's there's a San Antonio bias, right? Like, so that sounds about accurate. Badditology, right?
Hey man, what is
the study of baddies?
We're Latinos, Rick. What do we grow up around all our lives? What do they expect, bro?
Yeah, right. Come on, man. You already know.
You got a friend there reaching out to us on our YouTube stream saying, "I heard all my girl crushes."
Yeah.
People were upset that we had Sofia Vergara with in the same bracket as Salma Hayek. They got offended. They
want you to spread out the 1 seeds or whatnot.
Yeah, I was like, hey,
no, it's tough, man. Yeah, it's tough, man.
Sometimes
it's a selection committee, bro. The selection. Everyone's always upset at the selection committee, bro. The selection committee gets trampled on. So you get Duke and Kentucky and all. It's but it's fun. It's fun. It was good. And it's funny because it got born in your mind. We saw it like live. Actually, that's what I like about this. Is like the idea kind of came in your mind. We saw it in live time, and then now it's rolling.
You see,
That's what Alamo City Sportscast is about, right? You're seeing things in live and happening. Yeah, I love it.
It is, and a lot of people think a lot of times that we have this scripted out, or we have like some type of meeting. Hey, this is what the show rundown is.
Right. Yeah.
We don't do that shit, dude.
And that's what I like. That's what I like. I love that actually. I love that. It's real. It's unfettered. It's raw, just like we are, here in San Antonio. So I love it. I love
Yeah, man, I
it.
gotta go ahead and play this too because I did do a quick interview yesterday with my boy Benjamin Bornstein because we're gonna be talking about March Madness coming up.
Oh man, I love March Madness.
19th. Bro,
Yeah.
everybody's brackets are gonna be done the first damn day. You already know, bro. Bust it.
Man,
Bust it.
the
You know?
the first day and really the first 2 days are like the best ever because
Yeah.
again you have a brand new bracket, everything's good, you're so hopeful, and like you said in the first, and then like the games aren't all day. Like here in the West
Yeah.
Coast, they start like at 8-9 in the
In the
morning,
morning,
and
yeah.
like
know,
they
dude.
go all day, man. And it it's so my boys and I have had a tradition since they were young where I would keep them home from school, and we would sit and my ex-wife would get so upset. She's like, "Why are you keeping them home from school to watch?" I'm like, "March Madness! Like, what's wrong? What are you talking
Boys,
about?"
these are my boys.
Li-
Yeah.
literally, man. And it was awesome, and it was so cool. They would stay home from school the first day of March Madness, and I would stay home. I would take the day off of work, and we would just get snacks and all kinds of stuff, and like literally sit in front of the TV and just like watch March Madness all day, right? And I was doing that when they were young, and like now they're grown and stuff like that. So we still get together and watch it. So it's so fun, and it goes back to, and I know we all talk about this as fathers, like that's what sports, why we're so passionate, because they're the bonds and the memories that we make with our
Yep.
kids and our loved ones and all that stuff. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, man, that's all good, dude. That's exactly right, man. Sports bonds families together, especially sons and fathers, man. Because you get to impart your passion that you have for sports.
Yes, fathers
to
and
the
daughters
kids,
too.
man.
Fathers and daughters too, man. I mean, fathers and daughters too. Yeah, but yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this excerpt. Only gonna last a couple minutes, and then we'll start wrapping things up. Here we go. Well, that was a very good intro there that I made just for you, Ben. So we're here with our college basketball analyst here, who's going to be none other than the great Benjamin Bornstein. So, Ben, tell us what we need to know about the upcoming tourney that is going to start, I believe, on the 19th, March Madness. We have a great week of games scheduled here. It's going to end with some bangers of a game, man. So go ahead and let us know what's happening.
Yeah, you're telling me. I mean, there's, you have classic end of season UNC Duke, greatest rivalry of all time, all that good jazz, stuff of dreams.
You got Kentucky, Tennessee, Kansas,
Yeah,
Houston.
Kentucky, Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, just Kansas, Houston. With Houston being in the Big 12 now, we have a great opportunity ahead of us to start a real awesome Big 12 rivalry with those two. I am very excited for that.
Yeah, you're pretty much going to be locked in on Saturday, I assume.
Yes, for sure. Like you said, Kentucky, Tennessee. You don't have North Carolina, Duke. You don't have a whole lot of their ranked games, but you do have opportunity for people to play spoiler. If somehow Georgia beats Auburn, I mean Auburn's going to get into the tournament, but that'll cost them the seed line. Talking about Marquette and Xavier, if Xavier finds a way to beat Marquette, that's definitely a loss of the seed line. You have to think. One of my favorite stories of the whole season, South Florida, has been phenomenal. First-year head coach in Amir Abdur-Rahim came from Kennesaw State, led Kennesaw State to the NCAA tournament last year. Then, moved up a level to South Florida. South Florida, for a very long time, has had a pretty apathetic fan base, but he's rallied the fans this year. They've been amazing. I think they just had 3 straight sellouts at home, which is incredible for them. It's very exciting. This game is Tulsa, though, at Tulsa, so not an opportunity for a home sellout, but very excited to see how they do. I mean, they're 23-5. They're 16-1 in the American Conference with a chance to go 17-1 on Saturday. Just some good games. I'm very excited. And then, of course, we're going to have conference tournament next week. But I actually had some questions from our favorite Rudy Campos Jr. Hasn't reached senior status yet. We'll get him there though. So I want to answer some of those. I'm going completely out of order of what he gave me. But one of his questions was, will Cody Williams, forward for Colorado, arguably be the best player to come out of this draft class when it's all said and done? That is a great question, and it's incredibly hard to answer because this draft class is all over the place. There's still really no consensus number one pick. I think a lot of people have, Zachary Recherche. I think I pronounced that right. He's French. But a lot of people have him. Some people have Cody Williams getting up there. Holland was up there for a while. I think with his injury, he's gotten moved down. But Cody Williams is still raw. He's a pretty raw player. And again, it helps that this draft class is kind of soft. It's unsure of itself at the top. There's maybe 7 or 8 guys who are in the mix for the top spot. I think for Cody Williams, as with most players, his swing skill is going to be how well he can shoot. Now if you look at just his percentages, you'd say, oh, well, his 3-point shot is fine. Yes, he's shooting over 40%, but he's taking just under 2 triples a game. So it's not on volume. If he can do that on volume, then I think that bodes well. But his free throw percentage is a little shaky. As a guy at his size, his athleticism, he should be shooting better than around the 70% he is. Having said that, finishes well at the rim. I think he's got a little bit of a mid-range game. So he's got a lot going for him. It's way too early to say that he could be the best player to come out of this draft class. You could say that potentially about like 5 guys in this class.
All right, so that was a little bit of an excerpt there from our college basketball aficionado there, Benjamin Bornstein.
Hey man, I'll take Cody Williams.
Yeah, dude.
I'll take Cody Williams all day, every day. If the
Heartbeat, bro.
No, I don't know if I will take Cody Williams number 1 overall. But the fact that his brother is a baller with OKC and
Jalen Williams,
it does a lot to me. That means a lot. He mentioned Zachary Sarche. I would love for the Spurs to get him because the Spurs need to have that guy, somebody like him. Rob Dillingham. The Spurs get that second first-round pick from Toronto. We can get Dillingham at 7 or 8. I would love him. That guy's a bucket. Kemba Walker Jr. But lots of exciting things to look at when it comes to the tournament. As Tim Gonzalez mentions, tomorrow is a big game. You've got North Carolina taking on Duke, number 7 against number 9. The winner will more than likely be the number 1 seed in the ACC tournament. The Big 12 tournament gets going on March 12th. And when you look at the standings there, UT did itself a favor by getting north or getting some wins down the stretch. But the Longhorns right now, 8-9 in conference right now. Dylan Dessou hurt. So a lot going on there. Are the Longhorns on the bubble?
I think that's a team that a lot of other teams don't want to see.
Yeah.
Because they can be streaky, dude.
Yeah, they can get hot down the stretch. They didn't do themselves any favors, like you said, but they can get hot down the stretch.
Yeah, they would have won one of their games that they had on the road. I think it was against Baylor if Dessou hadn't gotten hurt. They were up 8. Dessou gets hurt. Wheels fall off, man. And that's what happens when you have these players who are veterans who've been around the block a lot. So the Horns right now might be on that bubble. They might have to play the play-in at the 11-6 game right there. So that's a possibility as well. But again, things get going really on Monday or so because you have the smaller conferences doing their March Madness stuff. They'll be televised. We're gonna see the first tickets punched to the big dance, and then after that, all the conferences come in, and then there's gonna be that big debate about who got snubbed, and then you get the beginning of the tournament with the play-in the Wednesday before. Then things get going, and I'm super excited because I'll be in Las Vegas. I'll be doing a live segment over there during the show. So Joe will be hosting the show, but I'll be coming in and out from Las Vegas. I love it. Rick, if you happen to have some airline miles, want to meet me up in Vegas, dude, I'll be at the Mirage.
Oh man, you don't got to tempt me when it comes to Vegas, man. I was out there Super Bowl week for a bunch of pre-events. I didn't go to the Super Bowl, but I was out there for a lot of events. It was a blast, man. I love me some Vegas. I'll tell you that. I'm actually going to be in San Antonio next week. Really? I'm going to be out there. Yeah, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to be in Austin next weekend for St. Patty's Day weekend for the Austin games. So I'm gonna be between Austin and San Antonio. So Joe had me in studio. Next Friday we might have mimosa time with Chicana Fuerte. So bro, you already know the party.
What does Steph say when you come to San Antonio? You're on her
How
time.
about her? For sure. Absolutely. For sure. For sure. So yeah, a lot of things happening, man. A lot of good things happening.
Yeah.
With Alamo City Sportscast. So
Hey, man, we got to go ahead and get a quick shout out here to our boys here over at not only MCS General Contracting, but of course, Jeff Garcia over at Locked On Spurs. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/at Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.
And Jeff Garcia, by the way, at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter. He also has, obviously, Locked On Spurs. I subscribe on Spotify and on YouTube. Today's topic is about Malachi Branham's improved play. And they also focus on the question, did Alperen Sengun show the blueprint of what to do against Victor Wembanyama? Sengun went off for 45 points. And as I mentioned on the show yesterday, he got so deep underneath the basket, he was able to use the rim as a partner, if you will. To you can't block a shot if you're underneath the basket. It's difficult to do so because the rim gets in the way. And Sengun was getting deeper and deeper inside. Did he show a blueprint to how other teams should battle up against Victor Wembanyama? Again, that's on Locked On Spurs today. Let's give some love to MCS.
Yeah, got to give some love to MCS. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show. And what do we say about MCS General Contracting?
Diamond hard, baby.
They got the hardest concrete in the business.
That's for sure.
All right, so we're going to start wrapping things up, Mike. But you know what? We want to also say thank you, man, to Fernandez for coming out and always talking, boxing with us, keeping it real, talking Spurs and whatever else, man. We appreciate you.
Thank
dude.
you for your service as well, my man.
Man, it's my pleasure. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's always a blast with you guys. So appreciate it.
Very, very nice. Well, everyone have a great weekend. Again, if you're out and about drinking up a storm, Uber is your friend. Okay. So everyone have a fantastic weekend. We'll be back on Monday.
See ya.